Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of my 2018 makeup collection and declutter series. Today's video is all about the base. So we're gonna go through my base collection and then also declutter some products. So we're gonna go through all of the tinted moisturizers, foundations, primers, and powders and concealers that I currently have. Again, I feel like my base collection is fairly modest, so I don't think I'm gonna be getting rid of too many products. But without further ado, let's flip the screen around and check out the products. So these are all the items I would consider as part of the base. So we have foundations and primers and concealers and powders. So we're gonna go through them by category. These are the only primers that I have right now. I have these two from The Ordinary. So one is the High Spreadability Fluid Primer and the other one is the High Adherance Silicone Primer. So this one is more of a cream product versus this one, which is much more fluid. You can even see in the dropper it kind of tends to spill out there. So it's a bit messy, but it does give your skin a very beautiful finish. It definitely is a bit more glowy than the High Adherence Primer. They both have a bit of a silicone slip to it, but I would say the main difference is that the High Spreadability one is thinner in consistency and also gives more of a dewy finish, whereas the High Adherence Silicone Primer is more of a blurring primer and it has a bit more of a mattifying finish to it. The High Adherence one is definitely not a mattifying primer, but it is more of a satin finish than a glowy finish. Then I have the Hylamide HA Blur, which is similar to the High Adherence Silicone Primer, but I would say that this definitely lasts a little bit longer on the skin. In terms of prices, the Ordinary one is about $5 and the Hylamide is $19. So let's take a look at all of the bases I have. When I'm looking for a base, I have a couple of criteria I keep in mind. One is the easeability of application. I like something that's really easy to apply. And even though I have combination, sometimes oily skin, I don't necessarily gravitate towards mattifying products. I don't mind to have a bit of a luminous finish or even a natural finish. I'm gonna try to swatch these so that you can see the colors. Here are all of the bases swatched. So let's start with this one, which is the Physicians Formula Nude Wear. Now this is an okay base product. I used to really like this. However, first of all, this is the darkest shade, which is light to medium. There's I think only 2 shades. Second of all, it's actually more of a pink toned base and I am more of a neutral to yellow. Next is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. I actually wore this on my wedding day. It was this and a combination of the Luminous Silk foundation, and I really like it, but I just don't reach for it anymore. I've used quite a bit of it up, but yeah, it's not something that I reach for very often. It is a really good shade match for me though. This is in Y375. And as you can see, it's more of a yellow toned foundation. It's a really nice finish. Sometimes I do find that it can look a bit cakey on dry spots that I have on my skin. Sometimes my skin gets dehydrated, but overall it's nice. I just don't reach for it, so I'm going to say goodbye to this. I will be keeping the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation because I really enjoy using this, especially with the CC cream from It Cosmetics. I love that duo together, and this is in 6.5, which is this one here. Then we have the Ordinary Coverage Foundation. This is a mixture of 2.1P and 2.1Y. I mix them two together because I was actually halfway through both of the bottles, so I just mixed them together and made this concoction. But this is it here. So it is a little bit more on the warmer side, but it still works really well with my skin tone, and I love this foundation. It's so easy to use. It feels like skincare on the face. Then we have the It Cosmetics CC cream, which I also really love. As you can see, I am using this product up quite nicely. So this is the shade here. I'm in medium tan. Again, the only downside of this product is it's very limited shade selection. Before they came out with medium tan and they just had medium and then tan, I was in between the shades, so this is actually a perfect match for me, but it definitely was a struggle and my skin tone isn't even that unique. So this is it here. I really like it. The formulation is great. It is really easy to apply. It's a little bit more coverage than I was expecting for a quote unquote CC cream, but it is a really nice finish. Then we have the Givenchy Teint Couture Long Wearing Fluid Foundation. I don't remember which shade this is, and it's kind of worn off on the bottom, but it is this one here. I really like the coverage of this and just how it looks on the skin, but I feel like this is maybe a shade too light for me. So compared to the other ones, you can see it's a little bit more pale. So I'm just gonna say goodbye to this because I think I just need a deeper shade. Then we have the Ordinary Serum Foundation, which I love. This is in 2.1p, so this is it here. It's definitely a more fluid foundation, but again, applies very beautifully on the skin. It's also such a comfortable product that it blends really nicely and it doesn't leave any cakiness in my fine lines. The Nude Air from Dior, I really love this. It's discontinued. I'm in 030. It is this one here. It's a very fluid foundation and I just really like it, especially in the spring and summer. It's really easy to wear and I'm almost through this bottle, so I'm determined to use it up. I'm gonna say goodbye to this, which is the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer, the oil-free version. This is in the shade Ochre. So it's this one here. I do like the formulation of this. It's very fluid, but it does give your skin a more even looking finish without being too much coverage. I'm almost out of this and I just don't reach for it, so I'm gonna say goodbye. I recently repurchased the Chantecaille Just Skin Tinted Moisturizer and it is this one here. So this is in wheat. I love this. It is one of my favorite, probably my favorite base. It's just really expensive, just so easy to use, and it gives your skin like a really beautiful finish, makes it look a little bit more even without being too much coverage. This is a slightly lighter coverage than the IT Cosmetics CC cream, but I don't even mind because it just gives my skin like a really beautiful luminous plump look. Next is the Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation, and I really like this product. The formulation is really nice for a drugstore cushion, but I just find that the shade that I chose, which is the Honey Beige, is a little bit too dark for me. You can see compared to all of the other bases that I have, this is the deepest and the warmest. It definitely darkens as it dries, so once it's dry, it definitely looks a little tad too dark for me. I would definitely pick this up again in the shade lighter than this, but I'll still continue to use this. In the summertime, I tend to be a shade darker, so this might suit me better then. This was a refill from a Cushion BB that I picked up from Yes Style. It's this last one here. This was the darkest shade that they had, and for some reason in the promo image I thought it would match me, but it really does not. It's called Natural Beige. Typically Asian BB creams are way too light for me, but for some reason I thought this would work. But as you can see, compared to all of the other swatches that we have here, this is the lightest. It's a very pale color, so I'm just gonna say goodbye to this. This definitely didn't work for me. So here's an overview of the bases. I'm going to be keeping these ones and then saying goodbye to these ones. Let's talk about the concealers. So these are the concealers that I am currently rotating through. There's only a couple of these that I'm probably going to get rid of, so let's swatch them and take a look. So these are all the products swatched. So the first two are actually correctors from Sephora. They are the Bright Future Gel Correctors. And I actually really like these correctors. My favorite corrector has to be the Giorgio Armani corrector in, I think it's number 2. It's like a really orangey corrector. It is really great. It's a great formulation and it's a great color for dark circles if you're around my skin tone, which is an NC35. This is a nice alternative though. So like I said, there's two here. One is the shade in Melon and the other one is Peach. So this one is Melon, this one is Peach. They are in the same color family, that kind of salmony peach color, but Melon is slightly deeper and that's the one that goes better with my skin tone. So I'm going to say goodbye to Peach. The rest are concealers. So we have the Sephora Future Gel Concealer in number 10 Eclair, which is a great concealer. I love this. I just repurchased this actually. And they have since, I think I mentioned this before, but changed their applicator. So this is a much better applicator and I really like the formulation of this concealer. I really like the formulation of the Maybelline Fit Me concealers, but this one, which is in number 25 medium, compared to some of my other concealers, it's slightly more pink and I just don't feel like it goes that well with my skin tone, so I'm gonna say goodbye to this one. I'm almost out of the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. This is medium golden and it's this one here. So I'm gonna keep this and use it up, and I really like this. This is something I would definitely repurchase again. While I was at Ulta, I had to pick up the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Concealer and Contour, and this is in the shade C10. So this is it here. It's in the correct undertone and color family, so it looks quite nice under my eyes. I do find that this concealer can occasionally crease under my eyes, but overall it's a nice formulation and it lasts all day long. Then we have the YSL Touche Éclat, which is not really a concealer, it's more of an illuminating pen, and I'm in the shade number 3. And I do like this, not as a concealer, but as just like a brightener under the eye. So I'm gonna keep this. I'm actually almost out of this also. And then the last two concealers are these two pot concealers. So this one is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in medium 2, which is ginger. I'm also ginger in the Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I really like this. It has a satin finish. It's a really good color match. It lasts all day long. And then the Stretch Concealer from Glossier. I'm in the shade dark in this, so there are 2 shades lighter and then I think 2 shades darker than this. So this is like right in the middle because there's only 5 shades in the Stretch Concealer range. But it's a really nice color match. It is more of a dewy finish for a concealer, and I don't find that this lasts all day long on me, but it's just so easy to use that it's like perfect for those kind of like no makeup days. So these are the concealers I'm going to be keeping. Bear in mind that these 2 are almost out anyway, and then these 2 I'm getting rid of. So these are the powders that I have. Now I do have combination oily skin, but I don't necessarily use a lot of mattifying powders. I just usually like to take down the shine, but it doesn't need to last me all day long. I'm definitely going to be keeping the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. So this is Dim Light, which I have repurchased. I actually used a full pan of this up, which is pretty surprising for me because I rarely use products up, but I really like this. It's kind of a beige powder. I just like it all over the face. This is not an oil control powder, but I do like the finish that it gives my skin, and it lasts pretty long throughout the day. The other one is Diffused Light, which is something that I would use under the eyes. I haven't been using it lately, but I really like this powder a lot. It is like a pale yellow powder, and again, it's great for under the eyes. I'm also keeping the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in medium. This is a great powder. This is great for oil control and also just giving your skin like a really nice blurred look. I've used quite a bit of this powder up. I still have a ways to go, so I'm gonna use this until I use it up. I'm gonna say goodbye to this one, which is the Blotting Powder Perfector in Tinted. I really like this powder, but I really should have just gotten the translucent one. Sometimes I feel like this can just darken the look of my face a little bit, and because it's a powder that I use all over the face, it can look a little bit odd. It's not like a bronzer where it's cool if your cheeks are slightly more defined than the rest of your face, but since this goes everywhere, I really should have just gotten the translucent one, but this is a great powder. I will say that it is great for oil control also. Also going to say goodbye to this Bourjois Rice Powder. It's a loose powder. It has a slight pink hue to it and a bit of a shimmer. So this is a great powder if you like a luminous finish. It gives your skin a nice satin finish, but like I said, it has like some micro shimmer to it, so it gives your skin a really nice luminous finish. I'm actually debating whether or not to keep this, but I just haven't used it in a while. I'm actually debating whether or not I should keep this. I just haven't used it in a while. It's not like I don't like the powder, it's just I haven't reached for it because I have all these other powders. I'm also going to say goodbye to both of these Bare Minerals powders because I just don't use them. So this is the Bare Minerals Mineral Veil, so it's just a loose powder, and this is the Bare Minerals Well Rested for the eyes. I used to really like this to use as a setting powder for under the eyes. Lately I've just been using the Hourglass Diffuse Light, and I think I like this a little bit more. This is the only powder foundation that I currently have. It's the Givenchy Teint Couture Long Wearing Compact Foundation and Illuminator. So I actually do quite like this. I don't necessarily use the pink shade because it's a little bit too, you know, like pink in hue for me. However, the actual powder of this is lovely and it works really well on the T-zone. So these are the powders that I will be keeping, and these ones are the ones I will be decluttering. So for this category, we have all of the products that I will be keeping over here and the ones that I will be decluttering over here. So there you have it. That is my base collection and declutter. Now there are a couple of bases that I have been eyeing, but I have no intentions of picking up anything new for the foreseeable future. I want to get through some of the products that I currently have and am using. So if I tally up all of the base products that I have, all of the foundations and concealers and powders and primers, there's about 32 products there. So I am going to be keeping 21 and saying goodbye to 11, which I think is pretty good considering, again, the modest collection. I don't have like a drawer full of foundations. Again, I'm very happy with the products that I currently have, and I have no immediate need to go buy new stuff. So counting all of the products together, I was able to decrease my collection by about 34% if I'm doing my math right. So that's it for episode 5. There's going to be one more episode, episode 6, which is going to be about the makeup brushes that I have. Again, probably won't declutter too many brushes because I really enjoy the ones that I currently have. But stay tuned for that one. It will probably be up next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this series so far. If you want to check out some other decluttering videos, some past ones, some current ones, I will link a few here for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!